Good morning. Today is Saturday, September 27. So I figure I just make this video more of a kind of a self-reflection. So I went on tilt on yesterday, Friday, September 26th. Did not blow my account or anything, but I definitely gave back a few days of profits. And I was really over trading. I think, um, yeah, I just did not perform well and I super oversized more than I normally do, and you know, kind of got messed up a little bit. So didn't blow the account or anything, but gave back a few days. So it'll probably take me maybe 3 days to kind of get back what I lost on Friday, which is not ideal. But I figure instead of just kind of doing this review on my own, I just kind of make this recording just to kind of share that, like, hey, this happens, and it's kind of an accountability exercise, but hopefully other people can kind of find this useful. But so the first thing is, when I look at Friday's performance, took a lot of trades, 26 trades, um, and my win rate was basically a coin flip. My profit factor was really terrible, and so that's kind of what happened. Had nice little green scalps in the morning, and then I think I took a nice loss, and then just kind of bled out from there. Coming back, bled out, tried to come back, bled out, and then bled out even more. And this is where I was like, okay, I just have to stop because now it's too much. Um, and so this is what happened in the day, and you can kind of see, the points for the trades from like 7, 15, 29 points lost. That's holding on to that so long. It's no good. 18 points lost. Here you go. Is this points? Yeah, points. So here was, I think this is the one. Yeah. So this is where it all happened. The 73-point loss. And I wasn't even at the computer for this. And this is the problem here. So we'll look into that one. So I think this is where I was kind of, yeah, at this point right here, this is where things got messed up for sure. And so we'll kind of walk through it, but we'll kind of quickly just kind of walk through more or less the trades based on um, the time and everything, just because TradingView doesn't keep the trade logs after a little while. But 833, so it was definitely this candle. You went long. Let's say we went long somewhere in this candle. I don't know exactly where, but 1, 2, and we get out in this candle right somewhere for like 7 points, something like that, right? So that's not nothing too crazy there. It was just a small scalp, right? Let me see if I can draw. Yeah, so somewhere here, small scalp there, that's fine. And then 842, waited some more. So yeah, around here, I probably bought around here and got up, quick spike. So that worked out. Um, Maybe I can make it blue. Trying to see what color would work here. Maybe we could just do a highlighter. Sorry, this is the first time I'm doing a review like this. There you go. Yeah, this will work. So somewhere there, quick push up, which is fine. And then we get 847. 847. Yeah, so kind of this push up, getting above here. I was like, okay, maybe we're going to try again. But I think I just got a quick push up again there, because you see, for me, I watch these two CBD indicators for like the hourly and 15-minute. You see a little bit of red show up there. So I was like, okay, maybe I should chill out. And then, you kind of wait. 849. Let's see, 849 here. Yeah, 840, here we go, 849. So it looks like we go long again. Yeah, so because we're above everything, all these HMAs. I'm a little cautious because of this red, but I see, we're still kind of staying green. So I was like, all right, maybe we will push up. Um, and so this was for, probably a minute or so. So I think I probably get out around here. And so here I'm kind of antsy at this point, right? It didn't go up. I think that's what it was. I was expecting a big push up, didn't quite do it, fell back over, decided to come out. And so here I'm kind of antsy, and I was like, all right, it's no good. And then I knew there was some news coming with Michigan, I think, some sentiment. thing was coming like at 9. So didn't take any trades until after 9, right? So 901, which is the next trade here, 901. So our next trade, yeah, and so I was like, all right, maybe we're gonna push up because I saw this big push on the news, and I was like, all right, maybe we're gonna go. And I was just late to react to this one, right? We fell over. This was 4 minutes, right? So one, two, three, four. I didn't really get out until we broke below VWAP, and so that was like not a good. That was not a good look. That was like 46 points, right? And then this other one was 30 points, and so I was like, well, that's you're waiting way too long, and then you're in the red by this point, or I was in the red by this point, and so I was like, okay, and I think here in hindsight, when I look at this, price kind of swept this area, broke down, broke down. Now we're below VWAP. Now all of these indicators are red, right? Like the CBD on the 15-minute and the 1 hour, they've gone red, and so we're below HMA, we're below VWAP. The EMA cloud has turned red. I should only be looking for shorts here. For sure, I should only be looking for shorts here. And then so we go 911. Here we go. But I ended up, you know, so 901. So I wait a little bit. So 907, 906. Yeah, I'm waiting too long here. 907. So I end up shorting somewhere around here. So you can make a little bit of money, like a little bit, nothing crazy. But like in hindsight, should have just held the short. Like everything is red, and I think I was still so fixated on, okay, this is going to be support. Maybe we're going to bounce back up because the announcement of the news pushed us up, and I was trading what I was thinking and not what I saw. And you can kind of see like this is over trading crazily. Like look at all those entries already. So that's not good. And then so that's 907, and then look at this 907 shorted, 908, 911 short, 911 short again, right? So it's just like I'm just shorting like crazy scalpy, but like not even hanging out or holding it, right? Because maybe I was like, oh, we're gonna like defend this low of day and push back up, but you're looking at all the CVD, it's super red, like it went down was the way. So I missed all that. Oh, wasn't trading well there. So here we're about 912, right? Yeah, and so I was like, okay. And usually I have to leave around this time, so that's also a challenge because I had to go drop somebody off and stuff, and so that was annoying. So I didn't do anything. Got back at 9:30, right? So yeah, I kind of missed all this. Could have been in a trade, put my stop in, and just let it work, but just didn't do it. And then so we get back here at 9:30. All right, so 9:30, we're here. And then yeah, I'm trying for the long. So because I see that like, hey, we printed this low, which is like the low of the previous hour, and so like 9:30 is like a new hourly candle. We're crossing above the HMA, but I'm not paying attention, right? Like it's like, okay, we're crossing above the HMA. That's a long trigger, but it's really not. You look at all this, right? The 15-minute and the 1 hour CVD was still red. There was no real high conviction long. And so I played tight and got out, right? So I played tight, got out with a stop. And then 9:35, trying again right here, because now I was like, okay, we'll push up here and we're back to the lows, tighter risk. Let's try again, but again, there's nothing here that indicates green. I mean, yeah, you see the 15 minutes starting to turn, but it hasn't turned green yet. So again, I'm forcing along here. So 9:35. So this one, works out. You get out around here, I guess. Yeah, I get out somewhere around here, I think. So that was okay, right? But it's still kind of forcing it. And then you kind of see this turn green. So at 39, here we go. So 39, we try again. Yep, we get out to VWAP. So I'm just kind of like scalping it back. But in hindsight, like we're mixed, right? Like the 15-minute is pushing up, but the hourly CVD is still kind of turning over. And obviously the better, safer trade would be a VWAP test and fall over, right? And So if you do it at 43, this is in hindsight, right? Look at this at 43, right? I go long at 43. At 43, I go long because for some reason I see the green. I'm ignoring the fact that the hourly CVD is red. And I think we're just going to continue pushing up past VWAP. Just on this, after this nice push up, we're going to break VWAP and just keep going straight. Like I'm expecting this to go straight up. And obviously it doesn't, right? In hindsight, should have went short just because of this kind of divergence in the two, and also just watching price action, should have taken the short there. So that was annoying. So there you go. And then we go, and then 46, and then 46, I'm like, okay, I should go short now. Yeah, 46, because I see this is falling over and we're still red. You take the short, that's fine. So that worked out. And then I stop, right? And so I was like, okay, I'm going to stop here. Don't take any more trades. I'm just going to okay, I'm just going to stop. I think at this point I was like kind of back. It was all right. It wasn't, I just like, I'm going to go take a break and everything. And then we come back at 10:59. Yeah, so 10:59. So here's the bad trade that screwed everything up. And I remember this trade because I was looking at everything and I was like, okay, I was trying to zoom out and look at all that over trading. And I was probably looking at a 5 minute. I think I was looking at 5 minute. Yeah, so around here, I was looking at this. I saw that we were pushing up. We hit VWAP. We broke down. Everything was kind of red here. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go short and then maybe we're going to test this low. That's just in my mind. And I was trading small enough to where I was like, I'm going to give it room. I remember doing that. And so what happened was, yeah, so I was trading small enough and I was like, I'm going to give it room. I'm just going to let it play out. So 10:59, we go short. Right? So we go short. But I was going super small and I was like, all right, I'm going to put my, my profit target here and just kind of let it play out. But I was looking at the higher time frames, like 15-minute and 5-minute. Now that I'm looking at the 1 minute, you can kind of see this was not a good trade because the hourly was green, the 15-minute CVD was red, so it was very mixed. There was really no trade there. And then I just didn't pay attention. And this was 22 minutes, right? So what is that? That's going to be like 10:21. And so I had some alerts. I gave myself room in 11:21. Yeah, somewhere around here. Like I stop out. So super wrong, right? Like I had my alert somewhere here. I had some alerts here. It's like, oh shit. And then when you get to here, it's like, okay, that's not good. So that was super painful, right? But when I look at that with the 1 minute, and I just wasn't at my computer, I was just doing something else and thinking I'm going to let it play out. But here, like everything turns green. Like hourly goes green, 15-minute swings green. We're above the HMA. We reclaim the EMAs here. The cloud turns green. Super long right here. That's like my long trigger. That's like A plus setup. And I was just short, holding into it like an idiot. And so I paid for that. And so this started the real downward spiral. I think here I was like over trading, but I realized like, hey, got to chill out. And in here, I just wasn't trading how I normally trade. I was just going to short and kind of hope that I was hope that there was a fake out because everything looked like, hey, we're going up. But I was like, I'm thinking maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the charts are wrong and some dark force is going to try to trick us. But in hindsight, price was saying up and I just wasn't paying attention to it, or I wasn't listening to it. And so that kind of started the spiral. And then from there, I won't really go into everything else, but like this, you see this 5-second trade, 22-second trade, 50-second trade. Like I'm everywhere. I'm not happy. I'm trying to like really find something and I'm not doing well. And then this another short here for 35 for 35 minutes, 12:22. And here I shouldn't even be trading, right? At 12:22. This is like lunchtime. I don't even know why I'm in this trade. There's nothing here. I think I'm just forcing a short at this point. I am forcing a short at this point. It's like, all right, we're coming up near the high of day. We're coming down to this breakdown level here. Like maybe we're going to get a short. And I think here, yeah, I think this was I think these shorts, not this one. There's a bunch of these where I like really scaled into them. And so you can kind of see like this one I was, or this one I went green and then, red, but it got out break even. Like I scaled into that one. I was like, had a lot of profit, but then I was like, okay, I want more and more. And it didn't happen. And I got stopped out break even because I moved my stop to break even. Same thing for this one. I think that's what happened. Um, but yeah, getting stopped out here, stopped out. And so it's funny. I was like, okay, I usually trade the MNQs and I'll scale in, right? So if I'll add to my winners, if I like what I see, and kind of move my stops break even. And then I was like, okay, let me just switch to NQ. Like this is like, you see this right here. This is me like really going on tilt because now it's like, well, let me just trade the NQ and trade bigger and I'll make it back. And obviously didn't quite work out. Went back to MMQ, didn't quite work out. But those NQ, right? Like 1.9 points, like 10-point losses are 10 points on the Qs, right, is 10x that of what it would be on the MQ depending, right? So yeah, I mean, just kind of reflecting on how this was not a good trading session. I think in hindsight, I just need to pay attention to my to what I look for. Oh shit! I think I just removed all my lines that I put here. Oh well. I'll just do that later. But yeah, in hindsight, like this was all good. Like longs were good here. I think this kind of faked me out a little bit. Like everything was still green, fighting green, but we had price kind of going against. Um, and so I think this one kind of screwed me up, where price like really wicked down, even though everything was green, and maybe my brain wasn't processing that correctly. In theory, it's like, well, this is like you could have waited and had your stop here below this big push-up candle, and because this had such a big push-up, like the range was going to be a little bit wild. And in hindsight, this is probably a good entry for a long. At the kind of where it broke above the high of the first candle. And in hindsight, super short. This is exactly playbook short, right? Pushing up, break below HMA, break below VWAP. The clouds turn red. Everything turns red. Everything's screaming red here, and should have went short. That was very clean there. I think here, divergence here. There's no in A plus. There's probably no trade here. Like sure, you could have bounced off VWAP, and that would have been a good trade, but it's not A plus because these were kind of saying different things. 15 minute was green and the 1 hour was red. So the right thing to do was no trade. I mean, maybe here because everything turned red could have been a good short. Probably you would have got stopped out, but at least it was everything agreed. Here could have been a good long, little bit, and you would have got stopped out, but it's okay. And in here's a super green. Everything went for it, and then we kept going. So that's my Friday. Just kind of a reflection of how things played out. Yeah, so I think that is what it is.